Israel Adesanya returned to the middleweight division and picked up right where he left off on Saturday, defeating Marvin Vettori by lopsided unanimous decision in their UFC 263 main event rematch. For Adesanya, not the stoppage definitive performance he was looking for, but no question at the end of this fight who the better man was. He won all 5 rounds on the scorecards, in my opinion, as well, getting out of a few troubling moments that Vettori presented on the mat and getting his title defense, the third consecutive one for him in the middleweight division, and a important victory for him after his failed champ bid against Jan Blachowicz at 205 pounds. I think this performance just reinforcing that 185 pounds, unquestionably Adesanya's best division, and he seems right now to be head and shoulders above all the competition, pretty much gone through every available contender at this point, and now going around to do it twice. And that trend is going to continue with what seems to be a upcoming rematch against Robert Whittaker. To me, the most interesting fight for Adesanya in this division. Of course, he beat Whittaker convincingly in their first meeting to take the title in that big stadium show in Australia, but I think Whittaker has put together some nice wins since then. He has really come into his own skill set wise and mentally, and I think he will be much more prepared for this rematch, and it definitely will not be the blowout that we saw in the first fight. So hopefully they can get that booked sooner than later. Adesanya seemingly wanting to return in October. If the UFC could execute a stadium show in New Zealand as Adesanya wished, or potentially in Australia, that would obviously be huge for both guys. But if they can't do it because of all the circumstances around trying to get a show down there, I think that would be a fight people would take no matter where it unfolds. But for Adesanya, definitely needs to run that one back, and if he can get through Whittaker, we will definitely be asking if there's anyone left to challenge this man in this weight class. And then if you're Vettori, of course, a disappointing outcome for him. He had the utmost confidence coming into this fight that he would take that belt from Adesanya based on how close their first meeting was, but it was not in the cards for him. He could just not really get going, had a lot of trouble with the stand-up, and suffers the setback in this fight. But if you're looking at positives, if you're Vettori, of course, still a very young guy at just 27 years old, seems to have a great team around him, and definitely a determination to keep getting better and push forward and try to fix the mistakes that led to this defeat. So if you're looking around for him, I think he made the perfect call out of what should be next, and that is against Paulo Costa, who of course is coming off a title fight loss of his own to Israel Adesanya. He's had to pull out of a couple fights since then, but if you look at the landscape of this weight class, who is available, who is booked, this fight makes all the sense in the world. The perfect call out by Vettori asking for Paulo Costa after this, and I think that definitely makes sense for him. So coming out of this UFC 263 title fight headliner, you absolutely do a rematch between Adesanya and Whittaker, and then look at that Vettori fight against Paulo Costa.